Alright, what is going on YouTube? FitzBro versus Kasva in a Rust Mirror. This is during the streaming event of Age of Empires 4 pre-release. So we'll be casting the matchup of these two players with a Rust Mirror. Down south is FitzBro, an AoE4 community member and high-level player, and to the north it is Kasva, who has the FB tag in front of his name, but that's not for Facebook. This is something that needs to be highlighted in light of the recent events. It is actually for Fenerbahce Esport, which is the esports organization of one of the Turkish soccer teams, or football if you're European. So it's a Rust Mirror over here. We have FitzBro, who's probably the more experienced player of both, but this is where I have to highlight that Kasva has been on one of the most insane grinds in Age of Empires 2 history. So this guy has been playing day and night. He's got like 3,000-4,000 games on his account, which is ridiculous. He plays about 2 or 3 times more compared to other high-level players on a very consistent basis. So if he starts grinding AoE4 like that, who knows, he might actually become one of the top players. So let's see what we have over here. I actually missed out the exact name of this map, but this feels like a map that would be called Golden Hill or something like that. Looks like we have a big central here where most of the gold is at, and there is quite a lot of stone as well on it. Looks like there's only one sacred site on the map, so if you want to win with the sacred site, you're going to have to only control with this one. A lot of little pits over here, and this is one of the reasons why I'm still not a big fan of the zoom level in this game. You see, when you have elevation like this, we're just zoomed in way too close. Alright, so what we're seeing here from Kasva is how the Rust should start. This is the Rust bounty bonus, which I will have a separate video on. So for every deer killed, the Rust will get 10 gold. It's 5 gold for sheep, 25 for wolves, and 75 for boars. But boars are pretty hard to kill, so by far the easiest to kill is the deer over here. And this way you don't even have to mine gold in Dark Age. In fact, I'm somewhat surprised that Kasva is mining gold because it doesn't have to. Especially if he builds a hunting cabin close to his wood line, because then the hunting cabin would give him a trickle of gold. Nonetheless, you see, Kasva, just by killing those animals over there, which by the way do not decay, so you can just leave them there forever, pretty much. So Kasva, by killing those, he already has the gold he needs to go up to the next age. Whereas on the other side, if you look at FitzBro, you see he went for multiple scouts here. One of the specialties of the Rust is that you can train scouts on the hunting cabin. You don't have to make them on your town center. And you see what FitzBro did. He placed the hunting cabin close to this wood line, which just gives him a passive trickle of 12 gold per minute. It actually increases with more wood in the vicinity. But he also added a couple of scouts over here, and I'm fairly certain that he's just hunting for deer over here with all those scouts. Not only deer, but probably wolves as well. Just try to kill any animals that he finds, because that's the way that he can get, you know, additional gold income from this one. Looks like we will have a beautiful place here for Kasva's hunting cabin. This is perfect. It's going to give him a trickle of gold because of the wood, and it's still right next to the food deposit, the herdable... Excuse me, not herdables, those are huntables out there. So, one of the other features of the Rust bounty system is that the amount of bounty you get is actually going to influence boost as well. This is called Hunter's Boon. So, the more bounty you get a higher harvest rate, and also, hunting cabins will give you another trickle of gold. So that's going to help quite a bit as well. So looks like we're going to have the Kremlin coming in first for our blue player FitzBro. The Kremlin is going to give you a lumberjacking bonus for lumberjacks. If you have a lumber camp over here, they will drop off more wood. And it's also defensive structure, so you can garrison your villagers in case you get raided. Meanwhile, on the other side for Kasva, he has not clicked up to the castle, or a feudal age, excuse me. He's just not building a Kremlin all the way out here. Now keep in mind that the victory condition in this game is landmarks, which means that if you destroy all the landmarks of the opponent, including the starting town center, you win. So in late game, if this goes very long, then it's very possible that the fact that this building is exposed here could be a problem for Kasva. Nonetheless, for the time being, the two players will be hitting feudal age approximately at the same time. FitzBro seems to be a little faster than his opponent. And with the Russ that have access to the early knights, I would assume that FitzBro is going to play with a stable, right? Seems to be a little low on wood, but now that he has 150 wood, we could see a stable coming up any moment. Meanwhile, you see Kasva is hunting that wolf, and this is why it can be so helpful. You kill that wolf, you take some damage on your scout, but it's gonna give you 25 gold. This is basically one of the ways that you can earn gold without having villagers work on it. That's very, very nice as an extra early boost. Alright, looks like I see no forward villager here from FitzBro, so I wonder what he's up to, because he hasn't dropped a single production building yet. He's pretty heavy on gold right now. He's got the wood to drop a stable now if he wants to. For Kasva, he is dropping that stable right now, and I mean, I don't know how much Kasva has played with the game so far, but he seems to be pretty proficient with this Russ over here. And in general, people seem to like Russ quite a bit because of this early aggressive gameplay. Looks like, for now, FitzBro just killed all the huntables on the map, and he's moving forward to see what Kasva is up to. FitzBro coming in with a house, but still no production building. Now, considering how exposed this wood line is, that's a serious, serious problem for FitzBro over here. So he's got to be careful about that. Anyways, here come the knights from Kasva. There is 2 civilizations in the game that can access early knights, if I recall correctly. I know that French and the Russ can, but I don't think there is any other civilization that can. Britons definitely not. Abbasids, no. Delhi shouldn't be a thing. Chinese, no. And Holy Roman Empire does not have access to it either. So indeed, there is 2 civilizations in the game that can go for early knights. One of them is Russ, the other one is the French. And so far, it seems like we're just gonna have a stable coming up for FitzBro the moment that he realized that his opponent is gonna send knights forward. I think he has his scout over here that overlooks this area, and he is just spotting those knights coming in. Indeed, he knows knights are coming, and Kasva, he's about to charge in here. Looks like FitzBro is also expanding with hunting cabins over here. This is one of the things that he's doing. And remember, this actually gives you a trickle of gold based on the amount of trees that are in its close vicinity. So you see, this is 13 gold per minute as he's getting professional scouts. This will allow his scouts to pick up deer carcasses, bring it back, and drop it off. Considering he has 3 scouts to start with, that's actually pretty good, because otherwise these scouts would be idle. Now he can pick up the deer carcass. You see, you could pick this up, and you could bring it back to the TC for extra food. That's very, very nice over here. For now, Kasva is sending knights forward. He has 3 as of yet. And this one is also going to give him 22 gold. Looks like for FitzBro, he's not making any knights. Instead, he's just booming here. Kasva's waiting for a couple more knights to pile up before charging in. The defensive tower for FitzBro on this wood line should help protect the villagers. And as I said, this is one of the reasons why I like playing Russ myself. It actually is a very, very nice early defensive civilization. So these defensive towers allow you to keep your villagers alive. And then you have the Kremlin, which also helps doing the same thing. Now the gold mine is very much exposed though, and this is definitely a place where Kasva can do damage. FitzBro queuing up his own knights. So far he's been focused very heavily on the economy. Now that he sees knights from the opponent, he's gonna mix in his own. Meanwhile, a couple more knights are trickling through the map for Kasva. He is on 1 stable, getting a hunting cabin up close to the berries. He still has some hunt over here to take, as it looks like FitzBro will try to chase away the cavalry of Kasva. So, let's see what we got. We got pretty even resources right now. There is no villager count indicator, so the best I can give you is resource income per minute, which seems to be relatively even, slightly better for Kasva probably with that gold, as a second stable is coming in for FitzBro. For now, he's chasing away those knights. Kasva turns back, micros away that low HP cavalry unit. That's very nice. And he's gonna charge him with the others. Like, you see, these charge attacks are actually very impactful. And it looks like FitzBro is gonna have to disengage if he doesn't want to lose that knight. In fact, he already took way more damage than he should have had. So, we have 3 stables now for FitzBro. Can he even afford to produce units on that many? I guess we'll have to find out. Now, here come the scouts, and he's just gonna yoink all the deer here. He can't fight that knight, but he's just yoinking all that deer for the time being, so he's gonna have some extra food close to that TC. And you get her faster from huntables than you do from herdables. That's a very, very nice source of food for you. Currently, there is about 5 knights over here trying to burn down that hunting cabin for FitzBro. FitzBro is going to get his knights out soon. Some of the knights here for Kasva are damaged, so this is a fight that FitzBro could potentially take soon. Behind this one, Kasva is still on 1 stable, but he's got a blacksmith and he's going for fitted leatherwork, which is the melee armor upgrade for the knights. I think you want to have the attack upgrade first, but it looks like he already has gotten that. So Kasva already has +1 attack on those knights. You see, it's 30 for their lance damage and only 29 for the lance damage of FitzBro's cavalry. Although the extra attack isn't necessarily important for the lance attack. 29 versus 30 is not that big of a difference. It's more important for the sword attack, which is 19 and 20, I believe. Nonetheless, FitzBro is going to be able to get his own knights out here as he takes a fight. So you see, in terms of knight attack, that's a scout I clicked on, but it's 20 versus 19 in here. Still, Kasva's knights were somewhat damaged over here, and I think FitzBro has enough to tank this one out. And the only problem now that he's facing is that he's off from gold. He has no spearman, and it looks like Kasva's cavalry is actually stronger than I anticipated. That extra attack and defense is coming in clutch. Some more knights are on the way. A defensive tower from FitzBro to try and keep control over this area. But it looks like he will have to just disengage from that fight. Kasva still pumping out knights one by one. His numbers have been decimated, and now with FitzBro jumping into the tower, he might be able to kill a couple more of those knights, but he is the one that's suffering the eco damage right now, and in a Mirror Civilization matchup, that's always something that hurts really badly, as, you know, your opponent is doing the exact same thing, but he's not getting raided all day, all night. That being said, I think FitzBro could still be alright, because he's picking off quite a lot of knights here from Kasva, and now he's going back to his gold. So, when the dust settles, Kasva's resource income is still better, although you got these little gold trickles for FitzBro, something that Kasva doesn't really have a lot of, although this one is actually a very good hunting cabin, a lot of trees in the vicinity, so that's 25 gold per minute, but that's the only one that he has right now. Looks like Kasva is disengaging, so let's look at the current resources, which are telling me that Kasva might try to go up to Castle Age here. FitzBro, for now, reinforcing his own base. He did ferry in quite a lot of deer, and that's something that helps immensely. And I think that's something that he should continue to do, because soon Kasva runs out of huntables here, and then he's gonna have to add farms. Whereas for FitzBro, he could just add the scouts over here on deer, bring them back, and he's gonna have quite a lot of food to work with. Now, Kasva is not messing around. He is dropping no less than 3 more stables in here, alongside a lot of farms. So it looks like he's not going into Castle Age just yet. In fact, he's gonna try to overpower his opponent with 4 knights. FitzBro might need spearmen to defend against this one. If he adds just the barracks and have like 5 spearmen in here, they can actually take pretty decent fights against the early knights. They're not amazing, but in terms of like resource efficiency, they still perform really well. And that would allow FitzBro to just sort of equal things out here a little bit, because in a knight versus knight mirror, he's gonna fall behind no matter what. He has taken enough damage for that. He's going for the defense upgrade himself, and soon the attack upgrade should come in here as well for him. Kasva is assembling a big force of knights. He's got around 10, whereas on the other side I count about 7 for FitzBro. Plus, of course, he's missing the extra attack. By the way, once you get to Castle Age, you could get the Boyar's Fortitude upgrade, which would give you plus 20 HP for your cavalry, including knights. That could be very nice. FitzBro's got 9 villagers on this gold, but this tower can only fit 8, so there is going to be at least 1 villager dead over here. And Kasva might try to just burn this tower down. He's got enough knights to do this. FitzBro is coming in with the cavalry though, and I feel like this is a very, very good fight for FitzBro. Despite the fact that Kasva might have the numbers advantage, the tower fire is helping immensely. And you see, I think for FitzBro, who is still lacking the extra attack compared to his opponent, this is actually a very, very nice fight, as Kasva will have to disengage with his heavy cavalry. That tower fire actually helped immensely for FitzBro here. That being said, there is a lot of idle time on the villagers of his because of that, so that's not gonna help by any means. And Kasva is just sending in more and more cavalry right now. Meanwhile, for FitzBro, it looks like he's just gonna stay on the triple stable approach as well, going for the attack upgrade. The question is, can Kasva push this tower over here? Because that's right now the most exposed part of FitzBro's economy. So, on the north, Kasva is now on 4 stables. He's got the upgrades for both attack and defense. And that's gonna be the case as well for FitzBro, who's apparently... Is he abandoning this place, or what's the plan? No, he's going for hunting cabin in the middle. It's a little risky. It's gonna give you a lot of food, but it leaves your villagers very exposed because they're far away from that tower. Looks like he's going for the palisades on the right side to fortify his position. And aside from that, he's just gonna keep pumping out knights. His knight numbers aren't impressive though compared to Kasva's one. Kasva make it the second TC in the middle. Kasva's at 13 knights right now. I only count 6 for FitzBro. There's a couple more coming in. And it looks like he's launching a counterattack. Now, if his timing is not right here, then these knights from Kasva will hit these villagers on the food, and then disaster is gonna strike him. There is gonna be a defensive tower coming up, and it looks like he's charging in on the stone miners. Knights are, however, charging in on the villagers here, and I don't think that this tower is going up, which would be a disaster for FitzBro here. I'm fairly certain that Kasva sees that tower coming up, and the answer is no. Kasva wanted to raid the gold mine, but he finds no one here because the villagers are gone. Simultaneously, the knights are coming into Kasva's eco. They killed a couple of villagers on the stone. And as things stand, these knights, they're burning down the tower, but aside from that, they're not accomplishing much. And FitzBro could easily find that wood line where a lot of villagers of Kasva are chopping wood. So there's a chance for him to push this. Kasva's gonna react with his own... No, it's not a tower, it's actually just a house. These knights are still chilling around over here. FitzBro, on the other hand, seems to be a little slow over here getting his villagers back to work. And also, we will have still just knights from him. No spearmen against those knights, and now this is where problems start to begin, because the tower itself won't hold the knights off. You need your own knights to deal with that. And currently, we only have 8 knights over here for FitzBro on the left. And he's got a couple more back at home, but he can't afford to lose this tower. That would be way too much economy lost. In terms of resource income per minute, now it's better for Kasva across all fronts, so you can't afford to lose more economy here. If you're FitzBro, the tower is slowly going up, down. There is 6 more knights that could join the party, but they have to join the party over here because the party is almost over. The party is almost over, the tower is on fire, and I feel like FitzBro is just gonna be a little too late to save his economy. He's gonna try to repair that, but that's too late, and Kasva will be more than satisfied by taking down the villagers here. Reinforcing knights are coming in for him as well. The tower is still intact, but I feel like Kasva's reinforcements are here just in time. They managed to charge in, and with that tower burning down plus the villagers dead, I think Kasva has this game. Very nice little rust mirror over here. I feel like the key problem for FitzBro was that when you fall behind the knight numbers like this, you have to mix in some spears. Otherwise, you will never catch up. Your opponent just keeps making knights, you also keep making knights, but you're behind by 5 knights, so that's not gonna be enough to hold off his. And with that, Kasva takes the win over FitzBro. He seemed very, very confident playing Russ over here. Villager count was pretty even for most of the time, but military numbers, as you see, better for Kasva all across the game. That's probably the biggest takeaway from this one. 43 kills, 23 deaths. Kasva usually had the bigger army, so he was able to take slightly more efficient engagements, and he takes the win over here.